it's time to do some back testing. Just want to make sure that everything is working. Hi, everybody. I'm Rob Booker. Welcome to the program. I know some of you are already joining us live, and some of you are on the way here. Looks like we made it live. Looks like everything is working properly. And I just want to say thanks for joining me. I'm the best-selling author of Adventures of a Currency Trader and Trading by Faith. Not like I'm trying to bring that up, although I just did. How are you today? I've been wondering. You know I love trading robots. We all know I love trading robots. That's no secret. However, I'm often asked the question. Okay, I'm not often asked the question. I just asked myself the question today. Which one of my trading robots is the best? If I were going to stand on my head for a month and just let the trading robots do their job, which trading robot would I use? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to backtest a trading robot. And here are the here's the battle of the bots. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to line up the contestants in Battle of the Bots. Battle of the bee of the bees. Number one, the Finch. The regular old vanilla flavored famous Finch. Rollover Finch. The Finch. Number two, we're going to test the T6 trend robot. And it's going to take a little bit of work, but we're going to do it. And we're going to backtest the new Kumo add to trades robot. And we're going to put these robots up against each other in a competition to the death. I'm going to delete the other robots that lose. That's not true. I'm not actually going to delete any robots that lose. However, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a 2-month stretch of time recently because, hey, why not? And I'm going to put these robots side by side, line them up against each other, and see which one produces the greatest amount of profit. I'm likely to forget everything that's happening while it's happening, so I'm not really sure I'll remember who's the winner. I'll depend on you to help me out with that. Welcome. Hi, everybody. If you're just joining us now, I'm glad to see you here. My name is Rob. In the link of the text of the comments of the, forgot how to speak English. In the text above on Facebook, you can see a robot link to get the robots on sale for the next 24 hours. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the link below. And if you're watching on Periscope, I just want to say God bless you. I kind of love Periscope, but nobody uses it anymore. I will also tweet out a link to that sale as well. Don't forget, get your hands on that stuff right now. So here's the Finch. That's the robot that's on the screen in front of us right now. The Finch is the original rollover Finch. Let's take a look at the expert properties. For those of you that are already lifetime members and already have access to the robots, you know I run this robot right now, and it's my favorite. So we'll look through the settings and just make sure everything lines up. Our first trade size is going to be 1 mini lot. Our second trade size is going to be 3 mini lots. We're going to wait 20 pips to trade the second time. First trade profit target is going to be a 1.2 or 12 pips. Second profit target, let's just make it an even $5. No break even, nothing else. And we're going to trade this from January 1st until February 28th of this year on the 1-minute chart. Let's click start. And while that's happening, you can see the graph as it's probably looking pretty good. And I'm going to walk over here and make sure the microphone levels are staying pretty good. Oh, look at that. Hello, I'm Rob's finger. Okay, here we go. Let's go back over here and we'll take a, whoa, that looks beautiful. Okay, that's pretty great. That made 289 pippers, a drawdown of 5%. That's expected with the Finch, but everything got closed out okay, and that made 280 pips or so. That's not bad. Okay, so that's contestant number one. Let's pop up. Now, why would anybody trade a robot that has a drawdown that's larger than its profit? And that's a question that I'm going to answer. I was going to say later, but I'm just going to answer it right now. I actually trade the Finch robot and I close everything every day, and I make between 2 and 3% a month with a drawdown of less than 1% constantly. So by closing everything all the time and on a regular basis, I don't have any of those those issues related to drawdown. But for the purposes of this battle, I wanted to tie one hand behind the Finch robot's back. One robot arm. Cannot compute. Okay, the second test we're going to do is we're going to do the T6 robot with reversal arrows. Now the T6 robot, many of you don't know what this is. So imagine that you identify a place on your chart where you believe that a reversal or a trend is going to commence. You put the T6 robot on your chart and then you just let it fight its way into that trend, and it keeps trading until it has either given the trend a couple of tries, and if it stops out twice then it's all over, but it tries to accumulate a bunch of profit. And I'll give you an example of what I am talking about here. What are you talking about? Okay, let's look at the Australian dollar in January. This is the Australian dollar, US dollar in January 2018. This is the beginning of January. And this is Knoxville divergence. Knoxville divergence. The K is actually silent in Knoxville. I'm not sure if I had ever said that before. This is Knoxville divergence. This is what I would, on a 4-hour chart, I would say, well, that's probably the beginning of a trend. Obviously, it's not. So I'm going to tie one hand behind this robot's back, and I'm going to say, just to be a stickler for the rules, I'm going to say, hey, robot, you got to start selling right there, because Knoxville divergence says that this may be the beginning of a trend that starts going down. Obviously, we're looking at the chart and we know that that's not actually happening. I mean, we could see here that it prints Knoxville divergence and then it doesn't move down. Okay. But we're going to say that on January 2nd, when this Knoxville divergence first appears, right there, we're going to say that we have to turn the robot on and start selling. Okay, fine. And it's going to take a maximum of 2 stop outs, and if it stops out twice, then it's all done. Then it's just dead. All right, here we go. This is the T6 robot settings. Magic number, candles back, slippage, lots. We'll just trade with 1 mini lot just like we did. Start time 4:30 a.m. It doesn't really matter. Okay, we're going to say that it has to sell. We're going to ask for it to make 200. This is the last setting that we had, 250 pips of profit. That's not bad. That's not so bad. It has to. We're going to try to get it to make 250 pips of profit. We're going to tell it that it can take a maximum of 2 stop outs. The Finch didn't have a stop, so I'm not going to put a stop loss on this. I'm going to make the stop loss giant. So it could theoretically and conceivably just lose a ton of money. And we're going to because the Finch could do that, we're going to make this as fair as possible, and we're going to say there's no stop loss on this one either. We could go back later and try this with a stop loss. I think it would probably work just fine. And then we're going to say the break even is at 5,600 pips of profit. It should break even, which means there is no break even. We've just made the number so high it won't move to break even. And the maximum stop outs that it can have is 2. But let's just see what happens here. So we're going to trade the Australian dollar, US dollar. We're going to start trading in January 2nd, and we're going to let that thing run, and we're going to try to make 250 pips of profit, because we think that this Knoxville divergence area right here is an indication that price should start falling. All right, that's fine. We'll start it on January 2nd is where we see that divergence. So we would walk over to our computer. This is how you, practically speaking, this is how it goes. You see this divergence on the 4-hour chart, and then you finish drinking your coffee, then you go to work, and then you come home, and then you let your dog out, and then you feed the goldfish and your turtle, Cuff, your 2 turtles, Cuff and Link, if you know that. Anyway, Cuff and Link, and then you turn on the robot, and you have all this time because you're looking at the 4-hour charts, and you have all this time, and then you turn on the robot. Let's just click start and see what happens when we do this. So does anybody know where Cuff and Link comes from? You probably do. All right, so this robot is done. This robot has now either made money or lost money. Okay, it made money. It made $221. It had a huge drawdown of $1,000. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. That's ridiculous. How dare it do that? Okay, so that drawdown may be too great to bear. Let's look at the results here. It opened a bunch of trades on it opened a bunch of trades in January on the 2nd, and then it closed them on the 9th of February. Oh, so it made money though. What in the world? Oh, look at this. It opened trades at 78.50, whatever, and then it ran against it all the way up here, and then it ended up dropping. Very interesting. Okay, so it made $200, and then right here on the 9th of February, it closed out those trades with a profit. How nice is that? Well, on the 8th of February, it prints this bullish Knoxville divergence on the 4-hour chart. So as soon as those trades close on the 9th, I guess we could start taking buy trades. All right, fine. We'll take buy trades starting on the 9th, since that's when everything closed. And we'll just leave the same settings in place. But we'll buy instead of sell. Okay, and here we go. And away we go, because we have until the end of February. So we'll take another one. All right, so this is the graph. And then we make another $250. It looks like it opened a bunch of trades on the 12th, the 9th, and whatever else, and the 13th. And then it closed all those trades with a profit. And it looks like we had a $252 gain for a drawdown of $126. Okay, so the first set of trades had a huge drawdown, but overall we made $500 in exchange for a maximum drawdown of $1,000. Once again, maybe you don't like that. Maybe that's not suitable for you. But in this battle of the bots, we have a robot that made $200-something for a $500 drawdown and a $500 profit for a $1,000 drawdown. And now we come to the Kumo trend trading robot. That's the brand new robot that adds to trades as well. And this is the robot that trades on the basis of missed pivot points. And for those of you that already have the advanced trend trade course, you already know what this robot does. And we'll switch this to the it doesn't really matter what time frame chart we trade this on, because it's all about missed pivots. And then we'll go to expert properties, and here we are. So let's pull up the properties here and see if we can set some things up. Slippage 5, spread 50, that doesn't really matter. Max number of trades allowed 20. First trade lots 1, second trade lots 2, mini lots. That keeps it fair and like the robots that we were just testing. Allow the next trade is true. That means we're going to allow it to take more than one trade. We'll skip down to use dollar values and set that to true. And now we'll have a profit target and a stop loss. So maybe a stop loss of, I don't know, $100 and a profit target of, I don't know, 125. So we'll use a stop loss on this robot. This robot is designed to use a stop loss. Let's not use a trailing stop. And let's use a moving average of, I don't know, 13. So what this robot does is it looks for automatically, and it runs on its own without any human intervention. And what it does is it looks for a buy trade or a sell trade after a pivot is missed. So as price is climbing, it misses a pivot. And then what it does is it sets up a breakout trade, and it takes the trade on the breakout. And then this robot, as price goes up, I don't know where I am, I'm just in space up here. But as price drops in a trend, it will keep adding to the trade. And the reverse is true for sell trades. So we'll compare this robot. I haven't really finished testing this robot, but let's just run a test here. Now this one's going to take a little bit longer to process the test. And I forgot to change the dates here, so I got to test it from January 1st through February 28th. All right, so this robot takes a little bit longer to backtest. It's looking for missed pivots and calculating quadratic equations and getting a drink of water and feeding its turtles and whatever else. But I guess you might want to see the thing move across the screen. So here it is moving across the screen. It looks like it's made some money, and then it lost some money, and it's done. Okay, so the report is it lost $45 and it had a $205 drawdown. So in the battle of the robots, over the course of a 2-month period in 2018, what we've learned is the Kumo robot didn't have enough opportunities to trade. If we look at the report and the results, I think it only found a couple of instances where it could actually take a trade. Yeah, so it doesn't trade as frequently. So this robot definitely had a hand tied behind its back, and that's unfortunate. That's definitely unfortunate. I guess what we could do is we could try to, this might be interesting since the battle is over and it looks like the T6 or the Finch were the clear winners over this period of time. What we could do is tell this trend trade robot, we don't need you to make as much money. We could tell you, you can actually have a more modest profit target and days to exit order. Oh, that's interesting. I forgot about that setting. Well, we'll just keep that as it is. It may have actually taken fewer trades if I had changed some of these settings. Ah, whatever. Who cares? Let's let this thing run. Someone's texting me. A voicemail. Ooh. That'll never get responded to. If you're just joining us now, you're coming in at the end of the Battle of the Robots, and we tested the Finch, the vanilla Finch robot, the T6 robot, and the new Kumo trend trade robot that adds to winning positions. And it looks like, even with these new settings, it looks like the Kumo robot came out of it a little bit better with a little bit of profit and a small drawdown. It looks like what we need to do is fiddle with these Kumo trend trade robot settings a little bit, because I have this sneaking suspicion. So all three are profitable, and it's a very small stretch of time. I have this sneaking suspicion that we can not only get the settings right for this Kumo trend trade robot that will blow away the other two, but it will do it with much less drawdown. So when we come back tomorrow or the next day or whenever, that's what we're going to do next. It's been a joy to spend some time with you. The simple joys in life, right? Spending time with you, interacting with you on social media, just having a great time. Hey, by the way, if you get a message from me on Facebook or a comment on YouTube that tells you to wire me money or anything like that, that's completely ridiculous. And all of us on Facebook, every trader educator on Facebook is dealing with this kind of a scam. And every single time you see that, you should just report that profile. And I would never ask you to wire me money. And it's clear that this dummy doesn't even form sentences correctly. So just be aware of that and report those profiles. And if you are that person who is attempting to scam people, may God have mercy on your soul. I mean, you must be in a bad position, or you must have fallen on hard times, and there must be something else you can do. Maybe you could just write to me directly and just ask me for help. Also, I hope you get hit by a truck. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. I love you all. I'll see you next time on Battle of the Bots. Cue the music, which we don't have.